All right, welcome back, everybody. I want to do a quick video, if I can, on buttons in Fusion 2.5 and how to utilize them. So if you right-click and insert a button, right, B-U-T-T, and it's not going to show up just because it's just that kind of day. Button, you search for it, left-click it, this is what you get. And you'll see I've already got a button here called Play Game. It's really easy to use. You just double left click and then you can change whatever you want. And now you have a button. And of course you can resize it. The problem with this type of button is that the text color can't be changed. The background color can't be changed. Like, the system colors are the system colors. And you can change things like X, Y, height. You can change the font if you want. You can choose whatever you want. You can make it bold. You can make it whatever you want there. You can, like, there are ways to fix it, but the problem is that it's a very simple looking button. Now, if you're cool with this, or you're just testing out your game, then that's fine. Put the button in there, go to your event editor, and then create the new condition where once that button is clicked, that you want to do whatever it is you want to do. So for us, what we want to do is we want to go to the next frame. So you just right click, next frame. We'll go ahead and we'll play the application. And you'll see if I left click it, goes to the next frame. Yay, we're playing the game. It's very simple in order to utilize a button, right? But the problem that people are running into, that people are asking me, is how do I make a button that looks more like this? That works. So the difference between this and this game, if you will, is that this is a button, which when you look at an object, it's classified as a button, B-U-T-T-O-N, right? Where's it at? Over here, right? And it's used to create push buttons, check boxes, radio buttons, and bitmap buttons, right? So there's different types of buttons you can create here, versus what we did here, which was we created an active object. Right, and I left it as active so you could see the difference between this, which is a button, and this is an active object. So I did right-click, insert object, I did active, left-clicked, and then what I did was I found a really nice looking button. Right? And I just double left-clicked. I went to this guy right here. I dragged that bad boy over to it, clicked OK, and now I have a button, right? So it's just a simple object with a sprite change. Well, actually, I should go back, because with this also, if we look at buttons, and I found this on itch.io. You can find this anywhere. Here's the default, and here's the hover. You'll notice that there's a difference between the two. So what I did here was, on this active object, on the stopped animation, if you will, I put the default, and then I created a hover. All you do is right-click, new, name it hover, right? And then you just take the other picture, drag and drop it. You get the idea. And then I created a different animation called hover, and put that one in there. And now the idea is, what I want to do is I want to be able to click this button and move over to the next frame, right? So now if I go to my event editor, so that way when my mouse clicks on an object, and there's different ways that you could use the mouse feature here. You can use when the mouse is in a zone, so you can like dictate a zone of the screen. You can use when it's hovering over an object. So this is hover, right? Not clicking. This is just when the mouse is located over an object. A simple click. This is if you hold it down. So this is pressing it down continuously. If you click within a zone, you get the idea here, right? We're going to use when the user clicks an object, left button, okay? So the only object I have is this one. So when that object is clicked, we would like to move to the next frame. And so we go to our play. We click on it. Yay, we're on the next frame. So that's a very easy way to incorporate an active object, change the way it looks, and just, the player looks at it and says, oh, it looks like a button. I click it, it acts like a button, but on this side, it's really just an active object, right? It's not programmed as a button per se. Well, what if I want to do more with it, right? What if when it hovers it, I want it to display it? Well, let's go over here. Mouse. When it hovers over an object, that would be that object, right? When it hovers over it, I would like to change its animation sequence to the hover. Let's see what happens. And we're going to get an error here, but that's okay. It's planned. Now when I hover it, you'll see it changes. But when I go over it, it doesn't change, right? So we want it so that way when it hovers over it, only when it's hovering over it do we want that to play that way. So we need to add something new. And this is unique. I don't know if you've seen this before in another video, but we're going to start the same way when it hovers over the object, exact same line of code. But if you right click it and click negate, what that means is not. When this mouse pointer is not hovering over it, right? So that's right click negate, right? This means the opposite of whatever that condition is. We would like to play a different animation, which is stopped. When it's not hovering, it should have its regular stopped animation. So let's see what happens. Look at that. And you can do a lot of cool things with this. You can even add another object into this frame. So for example, we'll just add an active object, we'll left click, and what we could do is we could kind of like expand this object, make it a little bit bigger than it, right? So we're going to make it just a tad bit bigger, and we're going to go into this, we're going to delete this guy, right? And I'm making this real quick because, you know, it's supposed to be a quick video. Add some flair to it. Click OK. So now we have this object. We're actually going to turn this object off. We're going to turn off the visible at start over here. And so that way when we play the game, you can't see it, right? So just like with the hovering, go back to our event editor. When the mouse pointer is hovered over it, we would also like this thing to be visible. But also, when it's not over it, we want to make sure that it's invisible, right? So same thing. We need two lines of code for that. So when it's over it, very cool, right? So that's some way that you can flare your button. Now I'm going to prepare you for the next scene. Don't freak out when you see it, because I went a little overboard. My idea was, I'll play it for you, right? Same idea, same concept as before, right? We're going to run the application, right? We're going to hover it, same idea as before, right? But I want so that way when I click it and move off, you no longer have that, right? Only when you click it does it have that pressing feature. And this is a little bit more complicated, but it has a lot of value to it because I could change it up in different ways. If I left click out here, drag and hold, it doesn't do anything. It just, you know, has this aspect to it. Only if I left click it will create that. Now I'm going to show you some code and we're going to edit it in a few ways. So depending upon how you like it, you can edit the code to however you want. So be prepared for yourself. And if you got to this point, you're like, I'm good, hey, just drop a like. It was 8 minutes long. Go for it. I know I talk a lot, so it happens. But holy cow, right? So this is crazy. In order to get something like this to occur, you have to have your active, I call this my play button here, right? Did the same thing, created an animation called pressed, I called an animation called hover. Did all that stuff. First off, put your button in here. Then you're going to need to add an alternate variable called isClicked and another variable called clicked on button. So this is a flag. Flags are basically like a yes or no, right? Right now it's a no. Nobody's clicked on that button. And it also currently isn't clicked. So what I have here is, in order for it to activate, it has to be clicked and you have to have a certain condition met. So like I said, I'm going to leave this up. I'm actually going to go over to here so that way you can see the full code. That way if you wanted to copy it, you could copy it. Because there's a lot of problems that presented itself today. So just to give you guys an idea of something that was a problem for me, I had that when I clicked this button, what I wanted was that when I click it, I wanted to be able to see the animation, right? I want to see that the mouse has been clicked. With this one, if I click it, you can't see this, right? Like only when we hover it does that glow happen. I want so that way when I click it, the glow happens. I don't want the glow to happen while this also, you know, like this stuff around it's happening as well. I want it so that way I click it, I see the animation, which is what, you know, this whole purpose of this one was. I want to be able to click it, so I'm gonna left click it and hold it. Then I know I've clicked it, and when I come off of it, I want it to shut down. So we had to create something that said that it's been clicked. So I had to go to the object, which was my button. In this case, it's down here. I'm gonna close this one out. That way this doesn't become too much. So I had to create an alternate variable. Yes, it's clicked, or no, it's not been clicked, and a clicked on button. So let's walk through the code. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, here we go. Actually, we'll do this one. So the idea is basically, let's first have a flag. When I click on the button, I'm gonna set the flag to on. And if my mouse pointer is not on it, I'm gonna turn mouse, oh my god, see, now I'm even getting lost. Here it is right here. So as long as the mouse is not hovering over the button, it does two things. It sets everything to off. The moment that the mouse goes off of the button, it resets all those values to 0, which is an important point here, right? So another thing is, as long as I'm holding down the button and it hovers it and the flag is on, it will continuously play that animation. So I tried this without flags, and it had it's an interesting effect as well. So let's say we take off the flag, right? We're going to actually take this off. We're going to take all this stuff off. We're just going to deactivate those lines, okay? And then we're actually going to delete this as well. So here is where something interesting happens. I've changed the code just a little bit, right? I got to turn this off. And now we're going to play it again. So now, no longer if I hover over it, right? If I left click it, now it still shows. If it's off, turns off. But if I go back over it now, I'm still holding down the left button, it does this type of feature. Now that's with this that's with this coding right here. What we'll do is we'll look at this as well. I'll turn it this way, so that way you can see it while I click play. Right? So I can left click, hold it. If I let go here, nothing happens. Left click, hold, and now it runs to the next frame. It works now. The button activates itself. There's different ways to utilize a button press. It actually leads to a game design theory crafting kind of question. Like, do you want it to only highlight when you click on it, and then when you move off, no matter what, it stays off? Or do you want it so that no matter what, as long as your left button is depressed and it hovers over it, it changes the way it looks, right? That's an interesting question, because with this stuff right here, if I activate all these lines of code, turning the flags on, and then going over here, I'm going to go to this section because it's a little bit easier for me. I'm going to insert a little extra. I'm going to say the flag has to be on. That's this right here. So as long as the flag is on, and the only way to activate the flag, which is down here, you have to click on it, right? And the flag turns off, by the way, when, and we saw that over here, the flag turns off if the mouse does not hover over it. So let's just go through it. And you know what we can do here is, this is a little debugging for you. Let's actually add the play button here so we can see the variables as we're talking. It makes it a little bit easier to understand. So here's our flag, right? No clicked on button yet. If I left click it, you see it's true. As long as I stay on the button, it's still true. If I hover off of it, now it's false. I still have to press the left button. Nothing. I'll let go. Nothing, right? So the only way to get clicked on true is to hold it. If it goes off, it's off. Now, there's that alternate value here, right? Is clicked. Watch, it does the same thing. Right? Look at the animation. Animation's still on. Okay, so let's see the difference. Once again, we're going to turn these off. And we're going to turn this one. Up to this point, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this is extra information. The video's over. I'm just talking extra, trying to explain it to you so that you can see the background behind it and how I kind of tested it. So I'm going to left click hold, and I'm going to drag it over, and now you'll see is clicked is on, and then animation's on. I'm off, on, off, on, off, on, right? Now if I let go, boom. If I left click on it, we're on to the next one. What made this so difficult was being able to find this line of code right here. As long as it's clicked, it is a 1. As long as it is clicked is 1, and we're going to go here one more time. Right? So I click it, it stays 1. Off it, on it, off it, on it, right? As long as that value is a 1, and then I let go, does it move over to the next frame? That was the key to this whole thing in order to me to be able to left click, hold it, see the animation change, and then let go and move over to the next frame. The other ones don't do that. For this one, as long as I left click it, it moves over. Doesn't matter about anything depressing or nothing, right? So this one, even though it looks way more complicated, and it kind of is, it has a lot more functionality to it. I like being able to hover, like left click, hover over it, having it turn on and off like this, but also being able to add more effects to it, which is why I really think that the flags, adding the flags was like the perfect like cherry on top. But you have to add, you know, extra to it. You know, the flag has to be on in order for it to work. And I'm actually going to go this way. Yep. So the order doesn't matter. And I've got it playing in the background. So yeah, I really enjoyed being able to, like, okay, I'm over it, so that means I'm going to select it, but I haven't clicked anything yet. Okay, now I've clicked it, mouse is off, and now I can't click anything. Left click, I see that I've clicked it. So there's two trains of thoughts. I asked several people today, which one would you rather have? And I actually got like a 50-50 response. So I hope this video is useful. I hope you guys like it. If you need anything else, just, you know, comment in the comment section below. Try to be nice, stay positive, people, and take care.